Today, we're going to talk about my first movies. The first movies I ever saw. I would say 7 or 8 years old. And the first movie I remember ever watching in the theater was, drum roll, Peter Pan. Now, my mom took me. We sat kind of in the back on the right. I don't know why I remember that, but I have vivid memories of this movie. The first thing I remember that I experienced was when I saw the screen, how big the characters were, especially animated characters, not real people, but cartoons in my eyes was so huge. The colors were amazing, so bright. It lit up the theater, and also felt transported to another world. If anyone knows Peter Pan, it takes you on a little ride from where they live in London, I believe, to Neverland. Yes. So my first movie experience was Disney, of course. Now, I realized that I grew up on Disney, mainly on TV. Now, I saw many animated movies of Disney on TV in black and white. This was the first time I had seen any movie or TV show in color. So you gotta believe me when I tell you it was an experience. I remember how violent Peter Pan was. I remember how scary it was, because I remember hiding behind my mom at certain points. And also remembering that Peter Pan was a bit of a brat, It was crazy, but it really captivated. I really was captivated by the story. The massive scale of this world that was created before me, and it just left a lasting impression on me. But I do remember why. I don't know why the color green just stands out. I know that Peter Pan wore green, but it seemed to be a dominant color in the movie. I remember looking at the movie and thinking, this is I've never seen anything like this, But recently, my wife and I went to Disney World. We went on her 60th birthday, believe it or not. And she wanted to go to Disney World. So I took her to Disney World, and we went onto the Peter Pan ride. And it just brought back those memories of how big the world was. It takes us flying over London, and then it takes us into Neverland, and we see Captain Hook, and we see Peter Pan, and Tinkerbell was with us on the journey, on that ride, but it just took us back, But what also struck me, though, about the movie is doing a little bit of research, is that the movie came out in 1953, and I didn't see it, and it didn't come out in Bermuda into the late 60s. I would have been 7 or 8 years old at the time. And I know I mentioned before that Bermuda was not on a U.S. distributor. It was on an international distributor when it came to movies. So it maybe that's why we didn't get movies sometimes years after the release. Yeah. But that was my really big introduction into the movies. While the action in Peter Pan was thrilling, I found myself focused on Wendy. I may have been viewing it from her perspective, or perhaps I just loved the character. Um, I don't know. It's just I just saw Wendy as the hero, I guess. Uh, but I remember coming out of the movie asking my mom a whole bunch of questions, talking her ear off, and being excited about seeing this movie. The experience, like I said, it's one of the first vivid memories I have of the movie theater. I may have been to movies before that, but that's what I remember. And I loved it, and I wanted more. But my next movie I saw soon after this, because I was hooked. I was like, Mom, I want to go movies. I want to go movies. And the movie I saw was called Born Free. At the time, I thought it was a Disney movie because of they had so much live footage of Africa's plains and real animals, out in on the plains of Africa. You see them running around, and lions and antelope, but it was about Born Free was about these coming of age story, believe it or not. Maybe it was the precursor to The Lion King, maybe. But it was about, I think it was two cubs that were raised by these two people who lived on the plains of Africa. I'm not sure if they were veterinarians or not, but yes, they took they took them to at least close to adulthood, and it was about releasing them back into the wild. And but it was it had a significant impression on me. This came out in I think it was released in 1966, and I'm pretty sure we saw it late 1960s as well. And it was the first movie I ever cried in as a 7-8-year-old. To see these cubs grow and then being released and having a hard time adjusting to the wild was heartbreaking. I mean, it was really an emotional roller coaster. And we're talking about an immersive environment like 4D they got nowadays, but that movie gripped me and I was immersed in this story so much. I cried, I bawled, and even I left the theater, I was crying. Yeah. But it just again fueled that love for movies, that this medium could make you feel these things. It just made me fall in love with cinema and the movies. But one of the other movies I have to bring up, I didn't even have it on my notes, but I remember it was called My Side of the Mountain. And again, I'm not sure if I thought it was a Disney movie, but I'm going to do some research, and you would probably see it pop up on the bottom of the screen. But it was about a young boy. I think he ran away from home, and he went up into the mountains, and I think he was taught a little bit how to live in the wilderness a bit, but the person died, I believe, and he had to survive on his own in the wilderness. And it was his survival that captivated you, and that experience of actually, I learned so much about a different type of survival. Seeing this boy who was probably a little bit older than me, surviving in the wilderness, doing things a person his age probably I had never seen do before, and that captivated me. And I don't remember everything in the movie. I might even have the plot wrong, but it just affected me, especially as a young person who had just started getting into watching movies. And again, it wanted me keep coming back. I wanted to keep coming back for more and more of these experiences. And I'm trying to think. There was just popped into my head. Bad Nubs and Broomsticks. Also pops into mind as a movie I saw during those early days. I'm again not sure if that's a Disney movie. And what was the other? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Oh my. Whoa. I don't know. I mean, many of you will listen to this and say, I never heard of these movies, or I have heard of them. But just think of the time when they made these movies. And then putting, can you think of the person who did the screenplay, the directors, the producers are putting this thing together, any one of these movies, and just bringing their story to life to entertain us, and we of course are entertained in many ways when it scares, laughter, emotional content, action, life or death situation, the whole gambit of things that are portrayed on screen. But I just remember Chitty Chitty Bang Bang being such a big part of my childhood, because I think I got a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car for Christmas. Oh man, that was the ultimate, man. And I, because Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the car could fly. That car got tossed around quite a bit. I'm pretty sure it was Dick Van Dyke who was in this. But yeah, loved it. And I would say, get a chance to watch these movies I'm talking about. Come back and tell me your experience. I mean, I think that's the first time I think I saw green screen. I don't think it was green screen. I think they did a lot of projection on the back, like rear projection behind what was happening with the practical car. And you see that a lot when it comes to cars and stuff that are driving in movies, where it's not green screen, but it's an actual sequence of a movie being shot on a screen behind the actors. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And also, what they used to do is forced perspective. You saw a lot of that in those movies back in those days. Even where they would paint a scene around the practical location or set to make it look like a different location or a different scene. I think they did a lot of that for what was it, Blade Runner, even though there was a lot of, I think, CGI and beginning of CGI and green screen back then. But yeah, I would challenge you to watch those movies, just to see how they made movies back then. If not, get a reaction from you that will be with you, that you would never forget. A great experience I had, and I hope when you watch them, you will have a great experience as well. I'm so excited about it now. So please put it into comments. I will have my email if you want to send me emails, if you have some information. But the comments is a good enough place as well. But if I have any misinformation, if you have any extra information, please let me know. Or more importantly, I want to hear about your experiences. If you have seen these movies I've talked about, or if you're going to, and after you've seen them, let me know what your thoughts are. Please join me the next time on Movie Nerdness. See you then.